Yo, what's up, creep? Thanks for tuning into the second part of this episode with Gary. We talked a lot more about this as far as the energy embracement goes and understanding your surroundings and what else? What was it? Psychedelics, yeah.
Exploring your consciousness.
Yeah, expanding your mind.
Right.
Yeah, and taking advantage of your surroundings.
Yeah. Creating your surroundings.
Totally. Dude, we killed it, man. I really appreciated this episode. Everybody who's tuning in and listened to the first show, this is actually, in my opinion, probably better than the first show. And the only reason why is because we go a little more in depth on consciousness and our perception and dimensions and so much more. We get into like conspiracy theories, talk a little bit,
man.
Yeah, a little bit about some extra terrestrial kind of shit, you know, and what we know and we don't know. So
put on your space helmets.
Yes, and Google and pull a Google up because you're gonna want to like search some of the shit we talk about.
Yeah,
because it's really interesting, and we do, but you're not gonna see it. So make sure you subscribe, give us 5 stars, pass the episode along, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Shut up and sit down.
I mean, it was such dog shit. First time I used it, that motherfucker took it right away. This fucker's fake, dude. This is fake as fuck.
Well, but at that time, it was what, a piece of paper with like a printed photograph that was laminated on plastic. Am I right?
Worse, we fucking delaminated it, and like you could tell, like we'd cut and because all we changed was like the birth date. So we like cut squared out the birth date and put new one in, and then tried to relaminate it. So it just looked like a fucking hack job.
Very primitive, dog.
Oh, super caveman.
Dude, super caveman. You want to hear my process?
Yeah.
That's not bad, right?
Nah,
That's
I mean, I would definitely...
That's what, 18 years old. I made that in 2002, 2003, maybe?
Dude. Yeah, come on in, man. Have some brewskis.
15, 16 years old. Yeah, so my story, crazy. This is what we did. I scanned in my friend's sister. Well, my friend and I scanned in his sister's ID. We scanned in our IDs, and then we just photoshopped our pictures on top of her picture and changed my name, and I redid my signature. Which is why if you look at that, the signature looks a little choppy. It looks a little
it does.
Pixelated.
Yeah.
Because it was done like differently. But everything else was scanned in at high def at the time.
Like on an HP?
Like
just like on a scanner?
Normal scanner, like a home scanner.
Dude, I got a story for you. I had a homie that used to scan $100 bills on a fucking HP, man.
He
got federally popped.
Me too. I've got a dude, we might know the same person.
What?
Hold on.
He's buying drugs. He's buying I want to call it crack, but I don't think it was crack. I mean, he was buying something. He got popped, man.
Wow. So he got
fake
popped
money.
Using fake money?
Yeah.
They're like, we don't care that you're buying drugs. It's
no, he got popped for both,
money.
But then, I mean, he went to federal prison.
So he's out?
Yeah, he went 18 months. I mean, years ago.
Well, that guy's lucky.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know.
Like big time federal offense when you're faking money and you're importing or you're buying like serious levels.
It wasn't
of drugs.
Serious levels of drugs though, and I think I think what he. I know it's not double jeopardy, but I think because I don't even think he went to prison for the counterfeit money. He ended up going to prison for like aggravated identity theft and bank fraud and all this other sort of.
They'll find the biggest charges and convict you of those because the other ones,
whatever they have like the most on.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly, yeah.
We know we're gonna get you on this.
Yes.
So we're gonna get you on this,
and it's the best option we have. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. To put you away.
What a fucking shitty game.
Well, the problem with this is it's a con college, and people go in and they learn from other criminals.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They're engrossed in an environment where they have to, you have to assimilate. And you're going to assimilate in a convict environment where people are making bad fucking decisions.
Right.
And you're going to learn from others things that you don't know that could make you probably impress you enough to make you go back out, and then you're wrapped back up into the system,
right?
Because you make another dumb fucking decision. I know people who did this. I've got friends. I've got crazy stories. I know 2 people serving life for killing children, by the way. I could tell you some fucking crazy stories. Craig Gregerson, get this. Dude. I grew up in Utah.
Mm-hmm.
Happy Valley. Orem, Utah, Windsor Elementary.
Wow.
Craig Gregerson. I went to school with this kid, kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, 3rd grade, before I moved here. 2006, right before I was about to roll through to, like, Canada on, like, a bro trip with all my buddies, I saw on the news that this guy named Craig Gregerson from Salt Lake City had been arrested for, like, this national, and I'd seen it on the news, like some national search for a girl who disappeared in Salt Lake. And I was like, Craig Gregerson, I know that name, because that's like a name that you really don't forget.
Yeah.
Craig Gregerson, very easy to remember.
Yeah.
And turns out what happened was let me give you a backstory of this kid. He used to eat his boogers. Got made fun of. I was in a Spanish immersion elementary school.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so my 1st, 2nd, 3rd grade, we all spoke Spanish. Like, you show up to school, everything's in Spanish, everything on the walls in Spanish. Your books are not math, it's matemáticas. It's not English, it's Inglés. You know, like, everything's in Spanish, and you learn the basics, and then you have, like, 2 hours where one might be art, where you go and do, like, painting and stuff, and one might be music where you're, like, singing and stuff like that, or whatever it is, depending on what, like, grade you're in. But it was an immersion school, so it was almost like a charter school, and it was a different track. So I started at, like, 9 in the morning, and we'd get let out at 3, and, like, half the school who did all English classes would start at, like, 8, and they'd get out at, like, 2, right? So we had different tracks, different recesses, all kinds of shit. 2 schools in one, basically. And this kid was always picked on. He was kind of weird. His mom was like the duty who, like, walked around and was kind of a bitch on the playground and was like, don't do that, or like, I'm gonna tell your mother, come here. And she'd, like, scold like a child. Like, you'd always be like, you know, in the back of your mind, you know what your parents say, and what your parents would say is, fuck this chick, she's being a bitch right now.
She was a bitch, so she was just a bitch.
Yeah. Doesn't surprise me that her child, and
so God knows what she was doing to him.
Who knows?
Yeah, if she's a bitch.
Well, let me tell you what happened, and we can kind of diagnose this as non-psychologists, but as common folk who can look at somebody and say they're mentally ill. You know, this person may have had an issue in their background that really reflected, you know, the outcome
yeah.
of basically where they're at in life. But basically what happened was this guy kidnapped, there's this she was, I want to say she was 5 years old.
Oh.
And he lived in, like, an apartment complex, or like some type of a complex, and she started screaming, and he basically yoked her up, choked her out, and killed her. Fuck. And then for 8 days, he repeatedly abused her body and put her in a plastic bin in his basement.
Fuck.
Yeah. And he had, like, a 1-year-old child, and, like,
that was his,
like, a separated wife. Yeah. He and his wife had just separated, I think, at the time. And we were young, dude. This is like 2006. Like, I'm 21 at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, 20.
Fuck.
Which is why I was going to Canada. But yeah, dude, that's one of them. That's a fucked up story. Craig Gregerson, look him up. You'll find him on, like, some crazy murder sites and stuff like that.
But
like,
he's in prison right now.
Shit. Yeah, life
in
sentence.
Utah.
I don't know where he's at now. It's
fucking
federal.
In hell.
It's federal.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, this dude. Why do we keep people like that alive?
No shit.
They need to take.
I'll tell you why.
Money. It's
money.
privatized.
Oh, 100%. It's fucking profit. Yeah.
Dude,
fuck him.
You know how much that guy's worth right now?
Fucking zero.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars to that. Yeah, dude.
100%.
Every
taxpayers,
year.
all you fucking taxpayers are paying for fucking Craig Gregerson to sit and rot in fucking prison.
For what he did.
Yeah, he'll never get out, so why not just kill him? Because if he did get out, chances are, just like he said, he's sitting in there stewing in his own shit, just waiting to get out and fucking do it again.
Some people are going to argue, well, let him sit and rot and think about what he did. No, how about you just take a bullet, which is super cheap, and you take him out to a field, and you say, what are your last fucking words? Put a gun to his head and fucking just put him down.
Dude.
He's like a dog. He's a rabid animal. This is something that is harmful to society regardless. He's going to draw negative attention in prison. I'm sure this guy has probably been sodomized and beaten and raped repeatedly his entire prison life.
Well, maybe he's into it by now.
He could be. But I don't want to have to pay for that.
No way.
Nobody should have to pay for that.
I mean, I just watched this Joe Rogan podcast yesterday. I don't remember the guy's name. He's running for president for universal basic income. He was talking about how much money is wasted in privatized. Yeah, so much money is wasted every single day on shit like this. Not only people like Craig, but
put them down.
Yeah.
Second story. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, dude.
I figured I'd
second
finish
story.
my thought.
Yeah,
I figure we're all on the same basis, and we really don't have to go into too much depth. I grew up with a kid, one of my best friends in elementary school. We used to go. We were in a splash fight gang back in like elementary school.
Splash fight? What's
yeah,
splash fight?
We would go to like the pools, like around like all the public pools, and we were in a splash fight group, and we'd always go like splash people, and then they'd like start a splash fight. We'd come in from the side, and I'd be like from the outside with like, yeah, dude, I'd have like my own style. Like you create your own style of splashes when you're going to pools every day for like your entire childhood.
I'm gonna get these fuckers.
Every summer. Yeah, you've got your close up, you got like your shotgun style where you're just like all up in their face, and then from afar you're doing like this little over the top,
I know what you're talking
about.
It's like
shooting like little tiny specks at like high velocity. It hits them in the face. Oh my god!
Stingers, dude. Stingers,
bro. Yeah, and you set your team up where everybody. You've got your close combat. You got your people from the outside, like making sure people are staying off you. You know how it is.
Yeah, God,
totally, dude.
So
Elementary school style.
funny.
Yeah, we used to do that all the time. We had splash gangs and shit, and there were like other groups of friends who would always like splash us, right? It was like kind of a thing we did. It was like friends at school, but like we're like, fuck you guys this summer. We're gonna splash shit out of you. We're gonna drown you out, bro. But yeah, where was I going with that?
Another story. Story 2.
About
murderer.
Yeah. So I used to kick it with this guy. He was in my splash gang.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody. I got a little off track.
Nah, it's all
Sometimes
good.
I get excited about these little flashback Fridays.
Yeah.
But this guy, I was actually hanging out with this girl, and we had all grown up together, and she was dating this guy named Tony. His name's Tony Shaw. Everybody who's listening to this, you can look him up. I don't fucking care. It's public record. It's not like I'm talking shit. This is real life. So I'm hanging out with this kid and like this girl who was kind of hanging out with my buddy at the time, and we were chilling. Like they would smoke weed together and whatnot, and we'd hang out, and the kid would be there, and like he'd be playing with shit, and I'd basically be like throwing a ball like he's a dog, because I was like 20 years old, I'm whatever, he's a kid, just like go fetch, like yeah, go play, like I'll draw with you, let's go play with spiders and shit, let's go throw bugs on spider nests and stuff, something that's gonna intrigue a little kid, right? Like, super fun little kid, whatever. He's 3 years old. I go back to school because at this time I'm living in Virginia, but I'm only home like during the summer and during Christmas, and during both those times I'd seen that kid. Well, it turns out during that Christmas break he was beaten by this guy that I had known and that all of us had grown up with, and she was dating. And the kid, basically, he had beat the child so much that he had died. Like, so much trauma, and I don't know if he had thrown. I think
you
what
knew the
happened,
kid that died.
Yeah, he would hang out. He would like come hang out with us at the house like all summer, dude. Because that girl was hanging out with my friend, And I had grown up with everybody. Like, we had all grown up together, junior high, high school. So I was like, I knew them. Like, I was part of the crew. And then, long story short, this other dude was like super abusive. He was beating the kid. She went and I think she did like 3, maybe 5 years time, because it was a felony, child neglect. Like, she put
knew
her
it
kid
was
in
happening and shit.
It had been documented, I guess. I didn't know this.
Yeah.
You know, like, and this is a guy who's like, 5'2", maybe tops, like 135 pounds. Yeah, like itty bitty tiny.
So he's taking his little aggression out on some fucking kid and killing
on
him?
a 3-year-old.
What a I
guess
you
what
I'd
happened,
fucking
dude.
kill someone.
Oh, dude.
Fucking touch my kid. Oh my god.
Oh
dude.
my god. I don't understand that. I do not understand women who put themselves, especially today, where there are so many there's so many outlets. You can go online and just message somebody and nobody will know you even messaged them. Like, you could literally get on Snapchat and just send them a message and just say, hey, help me, and it's deleted automatically. You delete it, nobody would know. You know what I'm saying? Like, help me.
Yeah.
I'm in danger. My fucking boyfriend is beating my child. If I leave him, he's threatening to kill me. I'm afraid for my fucking life. I don't understand how that doesn't happen nowadays.
It's got to be a psychological disorder in her, you know? Like, what do they call it? Stockholm Syndrome or something like that. It's got to be going on inside of her where she's not reaching out. She's thinking, she's hoping, hey, maybe he's going to stop or something like that, and then it just goes too far.
I can fix him.
Right. Yeah, and then, fuck. But you know what? I feel bad for her that
I do.
She has to live the rest of her life
knowing.
Yeah, that her son, it's her son, right?
Yeah.
Dead.
Because of her.
Yeah.
Not
she
because
didn't
of
stop
him.
it. She didn't stop it. She had an opportunity to stop it, probably more than once.
As much as I want to blame Tony,
yeah,
and I want to say fuck Tony, yes, of course, the child is dead at his hands.
Yeah.
But it's on the conscience of his mother, who allowed that to happen, knowing that it happened.
Dude.
It's so sad. And if she listens to this is 100% correct. I'm not being negative.
Yeah, sorry,
I'm just
Felicia.
I'm just stating the facts. Like, that's completely fucked up.
Yeah.
Anybody will agree with me, and if you don't, then you're fucked up.
Yeah, that's fucked
because
up.
that's completely fucked up. Yeah.
Dude.
That is, oh man. So those are the two dudes that I know growing up doing life for murdering children. I don't take pride, obviously, in, having any type of connection with those people. I did hang out with them, and I sympathized, especially with Craig growing up in elementary, because he did get made fun of. And I was always a kid who looked out for people, and I was very friendly with everybody. I'm still friendly with everybody. And I can recognize when somebody has an insecurity, or when, there's something they've been tantalized about, you know? And so I feel for the kid, but at the end of the day, he's a fucking adult. And that is some sick, twisted shit. And I don't understand why we just can't even waste. I'll fucking buy a bullet. I'll buy 2 bullets.
Yeah.
I will supply a rack. I've got hundreds of rounds. I've got we could have some fun with that guy. We could just line him up on the field, just get rid of him.
Man.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
But gosh, there's some fucked up programming that has to be laid down in someone for them to act on that. And I'm not saying that I'm certainly not justifying his actions.
Not at all.
But I'm saying that, like you were saying, his mom that was the bitch, God knows what happened in his household, in his life, to lay down some programming that would cause him to do that. Because there's no fucking way I could ever be pushed to that level where I would do that.
There's no video game.
No way.
No music that I could listen to.
Yeah, nothing. There's no outside stimulus at this point, being 37 years old, that could do that. Because all your fundamental programming is laid out. It's installed. Let's look at it like this. We all have an operating system, like a computer. And that operating system is programmed from the age of Z. Actually, is from the 49 days. That is when the soul enters the body. 49 days till about 8 years old, the age of reason. That's when your programming is being laid down.
Right.
So some fucked up shit had to have happened to Craig in that period of time. And then the catalyst, the straw that broke the camel's back, was the wife, the split up. You know, that just triggers, and then, you know.
But do you think this kid had some underlying issues that, like, maybe this was not the first time that he had assaulted a child, but that this was the one time it got out of hand and he got caught?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. Fuck.
Like, who knows? This guy could have been a serial, like, child rapist. We have no fucking clue. These people probably wouldn't.
Because a lot of people,
forward.
yeah, exactly. They don't come forward.
Yeah,
right.
They don't want to be associated with that.
Right.
That's fucked up. You don't want to be associated with being, hey, yeah, this dude who, like, did this to that girl, he did that to me, and I'm, like, alive. A lot of girls, and maybe in 10 years, 20 years, but I mean, the guy's been away for a while. Yeah, dude, it's the criminal mind. It's interesting, and it's very difficult, like you're saying, it's very difficult to judge him on, like, a personal level, because we are a product of our environment, and we are shaped by the experiences that we have, the way we're treated. And somebody like him was definitely treated on an ill level by his peers growing up, and I can testify that.
Right.
100%, because I grew up with him. I was part of that environment. I was part of the people who would always kind of, like, chuckle and be like, dude, Craig's fucking picking his nose again. He's eating his fucking boogers. Look at fucking Craig. Like, you know, he sat off on his own. He's awkward. He wore, like, you know, he wore fucking pants that were, like, what do you call them? Like high pants, like the high-waisted pants, and, like, above the ankle, high waters. And, you know, he was just an awkward child. And, like, looking back, it's like, but
looking back now, can you have more empathy? Even more weird. So than, I mean, but I would venture. I don't think.
Sorry, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but I don't think that, like, kids just kind of being like, Craig, you're kind of weirdo. Haha. I don't think that's going to make him grow up. And
it's not going to make him a better person.
I don't
it's
think
harder.
I don't know if that's going to. It might not directly influence some other underlying issues he might have. It's very possible that he, you know, had some encounters with some women when he was a child. Maybe he was molested by his aunts,
or his bitch mom,
or his mother. Maybe, like, she neglected him so much that he had issues with women, and like. Maybe there was some association with that in another way where it made him attracted to children. I don't know. But at the end of the day, that's it's unacceptable,
right?
And things like that should probably be snuffed out. And by that I mean, don't waste a taxpayer's dollar.
Yeah, don't just lock him in a cage.
Don't lock him in a cage. And the guy knows what he's done. He's written apology letters, I think, and I followed this case over the last 10 years. You know, every couple of years I'll jump on, because he's on, like, Murderpedia and stuff like that. Like, it's a kind of, well, I mean, it was a national thing, dude. It was kind of a big deal. This was like a national Amber Alert. She was missing for a week. She had, like, posters up everywhere. Like, she was in the Boise airport at the time. Like, I totally followed it. And then when I heard Craig Gregerson, I was blown away that I was connected somehow to that whole thing, because at that time we had MySpace, and I searched him on MySpace, and I was like, holy shit, that's Craig Gregerson. You know, like, I know this guy. He's in photos. I have photos of him with me on MySpace.
Wow.
Or I mean on Facebook, I'm sorry, like on my retro album, he's in my class photos growing up. So it's super weird.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, it's like,
I don't have anything like that.
Yeah,
I guess I have one friend that went to prison for murder. Like, we were running around with a gang and stuff, and he went to prison, but he did like 10 years in prison for murder.
It's nothing I'm proud of. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, it's
just weird to be
connected.
Yeah, that connection itself, it brings it brings a weird dynamic to one's life, that you can look at the timeline, the storyline of Craig, and you have that connection to
A little bit.
murderer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 6 years of separation between when I had, think about it, 6 years ago, it's 2013.
Yeah.
Dude, when it was 2013, I was pretty much the same person I am now. You know, a little bit's changed, but not too much. Like, I guess I'm a little bit more involved in the things that I was interested in, but like, you know, that separation of those 6 years, I think back, I'm like, dude, this guy really had some issues. Like, and you have no idea how quick people can change. It can
Right.
be, boom.
I mean, you bringing up 6 years. Fucking how fast times have changed in 6 years.
Yeah.
I can't. When you said that 6 years ago was only 2013.
iPhone 5.
Fuck.
And we're on iPhone X.
Yeah.
So we're like we're double the lifespan of iPhones.
Wow.
Since then.
Wow.
Wild, right?
I mean,
think about how things have
holy
changed. in
shit.
the last
Well,
6
think about
years.
5 years from now. Think about 10 years from now. 10 years from now, 10 years from now, I will bet 80% of people, at least 80% of people, will not have a car. Won't even have a car. Everybody will be on a subscription for a car.
Wow.
Yeah, everything will be automated. Artificial intelligence, things like that in 10 years, for
Like
sure.
integrated AI?
Oh, yeah, integrated.
How so?
Oh, and I think that in 10 years, the world we live in will be so radically different that our minds can't even fathom it right now. Within 10 years, there are going to be certain technologies that are going to be released that are going to change everything. Everything. The way that we know life in the Western world is going to change so dramatically in the next 5 to 10 years. Our minds can't even fathom it now. Quantum computing, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, robotics, it is going to change everything.
VR.
VR. Oh my God, yeah.
Do you think...
I think we're already living in the most advanced VR. We're already, I mean, every night
we are always living in the most advanced VR.
Well, think about
because
this.
tomorrow is going to be more advanced than today. Right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
VR is ever evolving. So
Well, virtual reality. We're already in a virtual reality. Every night when you go to sleep,
you disconnect.
Yeah, oh yeah, your consciousness goes to a different dimension. So if that's the case, every night when you go to sleep, your consciousness disconnects. Who's to say that your consciousness isn't plugged in another dimension right now, and you are having a dream right now? This is a dream.
How do we know that it's not
focused
even?
on.
Well, how do we even know that it's not a dream? How do we? We literally could be plugged into the Matrix.
I think we are.
That is like.
I think we are.
Like, we're not even dreaming. We are pre-programmed, and we might believe that we have the power of choice, but we do not, because that is actually pre-programmed into it. So our emotions can be pre-programmed to think, oh, wow, this is what we should choose, so we're going to choose it. Well, it's only because we were pre-programmed to make that decision based on that
to make it feel more real.
Yeah.
Because that's just a layer of the reality. It would have to have that function in it to it's a layer of the realness of it.
So we may not have...
Wow.
We might not even have free choice. We might be programmed to have the feelings and the belief and the idea that we have free choice, but at the end of the day, everything is pre-programmed.
Right.
And AI doesn't know, because I can literally code a smile.
Right.
You know, I can draw a smile on like a program, and I can tell it that it's happy, and I can say, this is what you're going to do. And I can pre-program before it to say, this is what you can or can't do.
Right.
And then I say, but this is what you're going to do, and this is how you're going to feel about it. Boom. But we don't know, because we are that.
Right.
We are the code.
Right.
You know? Like,
yeah.
We are living in that reality, that virtual reality.
And so the next level, building on what you just said, was all the things we just talked about, the artificial intelligence, the virtual reality, all the things, all these technologies that we see they're right on the precipice of being released and really being integrated into into daily life, that's just another layer of the code. That's just another like update on your phone. It's just another update in our virtual reality.
Right.
So that, I mean, who's to say in 10 years that we won't be able to plug our consciousness into a computer and take and just be able to create or live in any type of reality like that, like Ready Player One. Like, oh, this is the type of life I really want to live. I want to be this. I want to look like this. I want to have this. Boom, I just plug my consciousness in. I program it first, and then boom, it takes me right to it.
Or
because we're already doing that right now at a very rudimentary level. Like if you want to be rich, if you wanted to be a multimillionaire, you could do it. It's going to just take a certain period of time for you to go do it, because you're going to go out there and you're going to forcibly make it happen. You're going to shape your reality around you to create the result you want. And your body, you can change. You can radically change your body, the way that your body looks. Mm-hmm. So you're going to take the form that you have now. You're going to create this image on your mind. Oh, I want 19-inch biceps. I want this size chest. I want this. I want this. I want this. You might even get pictures of other people that already have the aesthetics.
An avatar.
Right. And you're going to go and you're going to force, by working out, by taking supplements, by doing all these rudimentary things, where I think in the future you're going to say, oh, okay, I'm a 175 pound, 6'1" person. I want to be 6'1", 215. I want to be fucking yoked. Okay.
Right.
I'm just going to program the computer, and boom, I'm going to plug my consciousness in, and boom, I'm living in that reality.
Right.
So we're just going to speed up creation. Whatever we want is going to speed up so fucking fast.
What was the movie with Bruce Willis? And I'm looking it up right now, but it's like an avatar situation where you go in and you link in, and it's an actual like robot that goes out and lives your life for you, and you just control it through like sitting in your room.
I don't remember.
It's like a drama. Let me pull it up real quick. You're right on though, dude, and it's like almost like a primitive version of like an avatar. So instead of living in a virtual reality, you're living through an actual like robot thing. But like,
well, aren't you already?
Oh, maybe though.
Aren't you
we
already?
Are robots though, right?
Yeah, this is just
robots.
This is a biomechanical robot.
God, I need some oil. I'm like a fucking tin man, dude.
I mean, think about that word. This is a biomechanical robot.
Yeah.
And the consciousness is what runs the thing.
Damn.
So we're already doing it. We're just doing it at a very rudimentary level. So the next level of evolution is when we are just going to speed it up, just like everything, just like we just talked about. 6 years ago, it was the iPhone 5. Now it's the iPhone X. The biggest shift that's happening is that evolution of consciousness, that evolution of the reality that we live in. It's about to speed up in a very big way, where we're going to just speed up the creation of anything we want.
Right. Dude, that's intense.
Oh, yeah. 10 years. 10 years. I mean, I went to the mall today, and I posted this on my Facebook. I went to the mall today. There was over 10 businesses shut down.
At the mall?
At the mall. 10 vacant spots in the mall. Sears was one of them. Shut down. Sears is shut down.
Sears is like gone.
Sears is an American icon.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah.
There was 10. I took pictures. 10 empty, vacant spots in the mall.
Wow.
That homeboy that was on the Joe Rogan podcast was saying in 4 years, he's forecasting in 4 years, most malls will be closed down.
They're pretty obsolete, man. I haven't been to the mall, and it almost seems like too much work to go to the mall, because I have to walk so far to get to one store that I need to go to.
Compared to Amazon.
Or just a strip mall. Like, I've got to, I have to go. The one place that actually fits well for me is, like, Hollister. Their jeans fit very well on me. I don't know what it is, whatever, but for, like, the price point, they fit nice. Nobody knows they're Hollister. They look nice. So I buy Hollister jeans, and it just seems like almost too much work to actually walk in there. It's like a quarter mile to get to where I need to go, and I could just go to like Marshalls and gamble on a pair of Calvin Klein jeans or Ralph Lauren jeans for about, roughly the same price point, maybe $5-10 more, but it's also Calvin Klein or Ralph Lauren. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they're a little better sized if I'm going to buy them, so they're worth the price point. I don't know. That's how it seems to me. I think we're moving away from like the giant castle of a bunch of stores to like strip malls where you can literally park right in front, run into the store. It's a convenience thing. Everything's on the go, and unless you're gonna make an actual day out of it, the mall takes for fucking ever.
Wow, so you're saying it's become just super inefficient.
It's inefficient. Like
Wow.
I literally I have to park. And then when I park, I park far away, and I have to walk for fucking ever. No matter what entrance I'm in, the stores I have to go to, if they're in the center of the mall, I have to walk for fucking ever. And I don't have time for that.
Wow.
Like that's why, and I've actually had an issue with this recently, because I need a pair of light jeans. I've put off buying a pair of jeans for 4 months. Because I don't have time to stop by the mall and take 45 minutes out to buy a pair of jeans.
Right.
I just want to be able to park, run in real quick. I know my size. Just pick it out, grab it, bail. But the problem is it takes for fucking ever to walk. I have to park. I walk. It takes 5-10 minutes to walk there, and then I have to go in. I have to find my shit. Some of those stores are so...
Then you might not even get them.
And I might not even get them.
So
they might not have my size.
Right.
It's like I gamble, dude, and it's and at that point I'm gambling for just what I actually have in my closet to just carry me through until I have time to fucking roll through.
Do you do much shopping online?
I do 99. I'm going to say I can't put a percentage on it. I do all of my shopping online with electronics. With anything that has to do with outside of clothing and food. But grocery stores, they are slowly starting to acclimate to doing deliveries.
Right.
Like Albertsons does free deliveries. Right. So if you buy over a certain percent, like a certain dollar amount, they do like a free delivery within a certain area. Well, I'm across the street, so I could always be like, hey, do that. But I like the personal interaction. I'm across the street.
Yeah.
I can pay 1 cent literally like to drive over there and interact with those people. They're fun, they're nice, they hire amazing employees, and I've never had anything bad to say about them. I've never had a negative experience. There was one time I did have a negative experience. I told him, and guess what? That bitch was fired like 2 days later.
Oh my
she was
God.
gone. Probably not because of me, but I might have been the last straw.
Right.
And the only reason why was because when I went back there and I had asked her to do a very simple task. Basically, it was 7:30, and they were like a half hour within closing, I think, or whatever. It might have been 8:30, whatever. They had a half hour to close the deli or the butcher shop in the back. She was the only one back there. They were running a special, and I said, hey, I want like, is it cool if I can get like 10 pounds and separate them by like 1.5 pounds for the first 4 packages, and then just do 4 1-pounders, like basically 10 pounds,
right?
But make it easy on yourself. But I do like 1-pounders, basically, right. Like I'm paying you to do something, but I'm making it easy on you, like trying to be nice to her. She threw a fucking fit, dog. This girl was like, you need to order that. That's 10 pounds. I can't do that. I can do the 6 pounds. I'll do the 4, but I can't do the last 4. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, I'm nice enough to say, yeah, I get that. That's cool. She's like, I'm cleaning. I'm supposed to close. You need to order that. You need to call us. Like, she berated me, and I'm sitting there thinking, who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you to sit here and tell me that I need to call you for a half hour when it literally takes 10 minutes?
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
No, it's
not the biggest
pounds.
Fucking deal in your life.
It's all pre-ground. Yeah. All you have to do is throw
weigh
a piece of
out.
paper on it, weigh it, stamp that shit, and throw it on.
Right.
It's not difficult, man. That's why she's doing that job. And I walked up to the front, and I was totally offended. I was like, whatever. You're having a bad day. Your mom probably found out she had cancer. I don't fucking care. It's not my problem. I'm going to let you have a bad day. But at I couldn't let somebody like that get away with it. And I'm not somebody to bitch and moan. So I go up to the front. I'm like, they're like, oh, you're getting in on the deal. You should have gotten more. And I was like, well, let me tell you about my experience real quick. And I even told the lady, I was like, I'm not trying to talk bad, but the girl in the back, she kind of had an attitude. And I told her very shortly, like in short, like, this was my experience. You might want to have somebody talk to her, because if she talks to me like that, she's probably going to talk to somebody else like that. And that's not good on business. Like, that doesn't look good on you guys. And she was like, you're not the first person who said that actually tonight. Like, we've had a few people come in and tell us like she's actually had an issue. Like, she's been like kind of snappy, and
she's getting the axe.
Gone, dude. She was gone. Literally, like, the last time I never saw her after that.
Wow.
Never.
Wow.
So I'm not saying like it was me. I'm just saying I might have been the final straw. I'm being like, yo, this is not good.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm telling you, somebody else has probably said something, because like that girl had a bad fucking day, and she doesn't know how to like.
Well, at the end of the day,
low
she's got
emotional intelligence, right?
And she's got a shitty job she doesn't like in the beginning. Most people work jobs they don't fucking like.
I don't get that.
Well, they need the money. So most people are going to trade their life for the money. And so even the cashier jobs, gone. 5 years, gone. All cashier jobs, gone. Probably the butcher lady, gone. I mean, most of those jobs, gone.
A lot of it's becoming automated.
Oh, yeah.
McDonald's.
Yeah.
You want $15 an hour? Let's be real. Business is not charity. And when it comes to business, it's the bottom line. That's like, it's all expenses paid. Everything's gone. What's in it for the shareholders? That's the vested interest. It's in the businesses in like they make decisions in the interest of its shareholders.
Right.
Period.
Right.
And at the end of the day, somebody who makes $12 an hour and they're bitching about 15, somebody who's got 5,000 to a couple 100,000, if not millions, invested in a company, they're gonna vote saying, make me more money.
Right.
And if you can do that, put a machine in there and have it do it for them. And in the long run, I'm gonna I'll be investing in you for 5 years, and I'll see that outcome, because they forecast that.
Totally.
Like, they see this machine may cost $100,000. This person makes $30,000, but this upkeep on the machine and the machine itself might last 10 years.
And the machine makes less mistakes.
Yes.
And it's already happened. Like, look at manufacturing and automation in manufacturing. So it's already been happening. It's already been happening. I mean, let's look at cars. Yeah. The Ford assembly line. And that was the beginning of automation, and probably the majority of cars were put together by human.
Industrial Revolution.
Right.
He literally launched the Industrial Revolution. Yes, continue though. Yes.
And so now it's just more and more robots. I mean, we were talking about that before the show. Is Amazon warehouses full of robots?
Yeah.
It's all robots.
And now they're starting to deliver with robots.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So all these jobs gone. People don't see it. Oh, my gosh. Sales. All sales jobs gone in 5 years. I predict all sales jobs.
Like over the phone, door to door,
telemarketing
everything.
For sure. Car salesman, gone. Gone.
So? How so car salesman?
Let me take you through it. You want to buy a new car? You're going to buy it from your phone. You go on your phone to Hyundai.
It's
Honda.
delivered. Boom.
Yeah.
Brand new cars, though.
Brand new car. Listen to this. I'm going to walk you through this scenario. You get on your phone.
Though?
Oh, yeah. Anything.
Wow.
You go on your phone. You go to Honda. Okay. First, you're going to get pre-approved. Okay, I'm approved for the car. Here's what I want. I want a new Honda Accord. Okay. Then I'm going to drive down to the dealer, or they'll deliver it to me. Hyundai is delivering cars to people's houses for test drives now. They're already doing it.
For test drives. Well, I'll do that for the Genesis.
Yeah.
Bring it to my house. I'll ride that
They're already
shit.
doing it. So now I go down to the Honda dealership. Okay. I've already been pre-approved. Scan a QR code on the key box. Opens up. I get a key. I go test drive the Honda Accord. I like it. Okay, cool. This is what I want. I want a red.
This is implemented now.
No, I'm saying this is what's going to happen.
What's going to happen.
For sure.
Dude.
Because I'm already thinking like Honda. I'm going to get rid of all those employees. Salesmen, they're inefficient, they're unreliable. Okay, it costs more. People love to buy, but they hate to be sold.
Exactly. People want to be. Yes. People don't want to be sold to. People want to buy into something.
Right.
Give them the experience. Give them something that's going to make them be like,
give them a better
holy
experience.
Shit, I want to be. I want to be a part of this. This is fucking cool. I want to say I bought a Hyundai, like for instance, or a Honda, or whatever it might be.
Oh
right?
my
That whole
gosh.
experience, right? Like it. Yeah. It's like that blew my mind. I'm going to tell everybody about it.
Bingo.
Yes.
The new experience.
People don't want to be sold to. People want to buy into.
Right.
This is a consistent thing that runs through all of my business shows on Channel 99 and all my party casts. Is sales in general. People, you can't buy loyalty. Like,
right.
You cannot buy loyalty. You can fuck it up.
Oh yeah,
you can't buy
yeah.
it. Like you can't. Like I can't say, hey man, here's a bunch of money for something that sucks. Like go ahead and tell everybody on your own reputation about how awesome it is, but it sucks. You can't buy that.
Right? No way.
Provide something that people are attracted to, they want to be a part of, and that they believe in, and they will tell people, and you will spend $0 on all marketing because you provide something that fulfills whatever it is that people want, people need, and that's what business is, and that's capitalism.
Absolutely.
That's why we have that freedom, right? So, but yeah, you and I are on the same page.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen for sure.
And that's why business is awesome. Because to be honest with you, if I could eliminate everybody that I had to pay money for and just put a computer under it and run it myself. Just be like, hey, I could just fix that real quick, or I could just like install a new program, do this. I would do that because I don't have to deal with people harassing people.
Right.
I don't have an HR department.
Right.
I'm not dealing with robots being
complaints.
Like, this robot said that I was like doing really well at my job today, and I'm offended by it, and
right.
I feel assaulted somehow, and I'm offended, and this somehow violates me. So fuck the business. I'm gonna sue y'all.
Right.
That's America nowadays.
Right.
Everybody's trying to. It's just
everybody's so easily offended.
Yes, everybody's so easily offended, and everybody misinterprets and miscommunicates because nobody knows how to fucking talk anymore.
Right.
Nobody knows how to be professional. Some of the shit that I hear in my office by like people who are way up, I'm sitting there, how can you say that? Like this girl, like who says,
backbiting and drama and gossip and shit.
Yes.
Oh,
or
yeah.
like calling people stupid. Like they're like, do you read that email? God, she's so stupid, right? She's so dumb. And she's saying this loud, and I'm sitting there thinking, how do you get away with that? Like, how can you call somebody like how would you say that this is just how I see it. How would you say that loud and call your client stupid in front of everybody in the office? And this happens all the time. Like, some people are just very verbal, and I'm thinking that's so unprofessional. But somehow they can get away with it. I wouldn't do that because that's not the person I am. I'm just thinking this person. In my head, I'm thinking it's not that they're stupid. This person just lacks experience in like doing what they do. So I adjust to them because at the end of the day, I can save my own ass and I can make them look absolutely ridiculous. That's not my problem. My problem is figuring out a way to like make sure we're on the same level. And I'm saved at the end of the day.
Well, that
does that make sense?
Oh yeah, it sounds like that person
girl,
doesn't care about the client at the end of the day.
No,
you're just selling them to make money off of them.
Sometime, dude,
and that goes back to the whole. That's why the sales position will be eliminated because at the end of the day, people are doing things they don't like to do because they just need the money.
Right.
And so when we can replace that, the solution is always found in the challenge. So even though there's going to be so many jobs gone in the next 5 years, there will be new opportunities to replace them.
Well, somebody has to go to school and figure out how to code this shit. Somebody has to maintain that stuff.
But how are you gonna retrain people? Let's say in their late 40s and 50s.
You don't.
Right.
They have free will.
Well, they're going to have to find something.
They will have to find something. And guess what? That's not my fucking problem. Because I prepared myself not to be replaced.
Well, you could even,
I could be replaced,
right.
But I won't be replaced. And the only reason why is because, yes, you can automate the majority of what I actually do for a living. And this is my 9-to-5 job. But at the end of the day, you have to find somebody who understands what that means.
Yeah.
And you have to find somebody who explains what that actually means. And so I won't be replaced 100%. To a certain extent, sure, my job may be shortened, but at the end of the day, a computer's not going to go in there and within the next 10 years, I think, and be extremely personable, be approachable, give a human interaction when I'm like, if I'm supposed to present to my client. Like, a computer doesn't do that.
What if it does?
Well, that's probably not going to happen while I'm in this job.
I would say it could in the next 5 years. That's how fast AI is moving. Is that it will be so personable.
I don't think companies are going to really have
they're already doing it.
Holographic projectors, like, not my company.
Well,
they're not
what will
doing
happen
that.
is that I'm just running like your system through my mind, and how it will be replaced is so your client will just have the presentation on a tablet, and the tablet will be presented by AI, and that AI, I mean, it's already happening. The way that AI is communicating and personable and giving the human experience is it cannot be differentiated from a real human.
But I don't think AI can answer the questions that I am asked.
Oh,
I don't think
they could learn it. They could learn it. It's so fast.
But again, within my career inside this field, I would assume that life will probably take me elsewhere.
Okay, yeah.
As much as I love what I do, in the next 5 years, I would assume I'm probably going to be with the same company for the next 5 years. I've been there for 4 years, so you never know. I could be there I could duplicate that. I could go at least 8 years. But at the end of the day, I don't really know if AI is up to speed with doing what I actually do. There's a lot involved, and the costs would be way too great for any company to actually afford it. Yes, you could probably get AI to do what I do, but nobody who's going to be able to afford that. On that scale, what they charge for what I do right now, no company that pays what they pay right now for what my services are can afford that type of innovation. They can't, dude. They pay a lot of money for the services I provide because I'm licensed and certified in certain ways that would cost them so much money to just hire their own force. So they outsource it. They come to a broker. They find somebody who can provide whatever the services are. I'm that person.
Yeah.
But I don't believe AI will be cost efficient. It could be available, but companies that are still big, and I'm talking Kraft, Ragu Bertolli, they come to teams like mine of 50 people. They outsource to little tiny teams, maybe even 10 or 12, depending on what they need. And we specialize in stuff. Nobody's going to spend millions of dollars on specializing something that I actually do just for a very minimal market that can afford it, because it's not worth that investment. It's not worth that time. The AI that's invested is going to be something that's aggregated over a very long period of time. It's something that has to be continuously added to, adjusted, recalculated. My job is I do not see my job being erased by AI anytime soon. And I say that on 100% understanding of both technology, where we're at technologically with artificial intelligence. My brother is he owns a VR company. He does VR coding. I know where we're at. I get it. I comprehend it. I'm on that level, but at the end of the day, you still have to program it, and that it can be a learning AI, but it's going to take a lot of time for that to evolve to be able to say, hey, even at the basic level, to say, hey, you need to do A versus B because of C and D, and if you don't do that and you pick the second option, this is going to be the alternative outcome. Does that make sense?
Totally.
It's all mathematically driven, but everything has to be calculated and input, and it has to be again aggregated as a learning environment, and it will happen, but I don't think in the next 5 years it'll happen.
Just don't be surprised if it does.
I won't be. Because
of Moore's law, and the exponential curve of technological growth. So much can happen in 5 years.
32 times. Don't we grow like 32 times, like within 50, like 32 times a year? We're 32 times more powerful. Isn't something like that?
Yeah, Moore's law is that all technology doubles on itself every 12 to 18 months.
Okay, yeah.
So that's what happens is once, like in 5 years, if quantum computing is exponentially greater than it is right now, that will allow all of that to happen.
Okay.
And so these things can happen. So I totally understand what you're saying, because I hear it all the time. Another area that it's really happening in, that people are really saying what you're saying, is in trucking. Within 5 years,
cars
trucking
are being
is replaced.
automated. Cars are automated.
They're not fully, though. It's not 100%.
Pretty damn close.
Oh, yeah.
That's a little more realistic than replacing somebody in my position, because there is definitely a human element to what I do.
Yeah.
Because there's a completely different analytical side that I don't believe computers nowadays can calculate. I don't think we're at that level.
I don't think at the consumer level we are, but I think in the background that even we don't see, and even potentially your brother doesn't see, that they are working on that at such a rapid pace that when it does launch, it can change everything in such a short period of time.
And it will.
Yes. And to your point that you brought earlier, is someone like Kraft or these big, huge multi-billion-dollar companies, the second they can use that technology, they will no longer need your service, because it will be so much cheaper and so much more efficient to just use AI. I think in 5 years, AI will be indistinguishable from human.
Possibly.
And I believe it's very probable, because of how, and that's another.
It's difficult. Yes, interaction wise, yes. I think like it's going to be very realistic with the way that AI interacts socially, but again, on a comprehensive level, like on a level that is like highly analytical, that requires certain things.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying.
I think that's a little slower. Does that make sense? Could be because they're going to be more or less, the money's going to be in producing something for the masses versus producing something for like the top 10 company, like just because of where we're at technologically. So like, yeah. So give it 10. I'm going to say 10 years.
That's fair.
My job could be replaced in probably 10 years, but I honestly don't ever see it being replaced. I think I see a shift in involvement between the two and the interaction between the two and utilizing one for the other. But at the end of the day, I think companies will be able to afford the time to like fly somebody out or to have a meeting and wine and dine somebody on a personal level, because there is something you cannot replace with that human interaction. So yes, maybe AI will literally tell me 100% how to do my job and like lay it all out for me and like do basically the entire thing for me, but I would be presenting. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but that would be AR, wouldn't it be? Augmented reality, where the technology would tell you how best to go about. Here's another thing.
Augmented reality is a little different though. That's like when you're looking at a tabletop and you've got your screen on top and it like projects that 3D, right? I'm talking like I would literally be in the room, like I would hang out with these people, I would be with them. I don't think that human interaction will be replaced within business. I really do not.
Ever?
I don't.
Oh man, I do.
Well, no, not ever. I'm saying within my career, within the next 10, 15, maybe 15 years. 20 years, sure, it's very possible. But like
in 20 years, fuck, things are going to be so fucking right now. I mean,
dude,
with
it's
blockchain,
insane.
There's a fucking super brain being created. A super brain.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, I have this joke. I don't pray. I just go to Google. I get instant answers to my prayers.
Sure.
So there's already a super brain with infinite intelligence.
Yeah.
So now and Google's already doing it. They're already creating this super brain, this super consciousness.
AI.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it will be indistinguishable from a human. And so what you said with like the whining and dining, that is an old paradigm. That's an old paradigm from like the 50s and 60s, where you take your client out to dinner and you'd get him some drinks and you'd loosen him up and then you'd close him. That paradigm is shifting, where now it's all technology. And even going back to VR, like, why, if I owned your company and we had VR, why on earth would I spend the money to fly you out when I could just have you put on a headset and meet with the client? And then that's the first step.
I can answer that, though.
Yeah.
Because I could have human interaction. I get to know the actual person that I'm with on like a physical level. Like, I see this person, I can go out and have drinks with them. I can enjoy like a legit professional meeting. I do not think AI will ever replace the human interaction, and when it does, I'm not saying it won't. It will, because eventually we will become a very secluded and intertwined type of a culture in a society where we may be completely locked up, like that movie I was talking about.
It's gonna be
like
weird.
Bruce Willis, right? We sit in our rooms and we put our fucking mask on, and we are literally in control of like either a robot or we're in a virtual reality at that point.
Right.
And we live our life within that ecosystem. I'm not saying that's not going to happen. I'm just saying that for the most part, businesses can afford, money is not a problem. Businesses can afford whatever it is. They're going to say, do your job as best as you can. If it includes VR, if it includes like being completely connected, like in some type of a neuro like connection, like you're locked into the system and you're fucking part of it, just get us something that works, make it work. And then, because there's a human going to be running the business at the end of the day, make it fucking work, come out, we'll party, because that's just exactly how it is. Like, when clients come into town, they come out, they present, we talk to them. We'd rather have that connection, that personal connection. We go out, we can have dinner, we have a drink, we chit chat, we talk about life and business. And like, AI is not going to come out and talk about life and business. Like, that is not real. And like, there's always some, and I'm not saying this is true for every industry, but where I work, the things that I've seen, the experiences I've had, yes, I see AI definitely encroaching on certain like areas of my business, where it can automate certain types of outcomes and predictions, and predictive analytics and prescriptive analytics. Say, hey, totally. This is what you should do, and this is what should be the outcome based on
that's
blah,
just
blah, blah.
a first level of it.
Yes, but at the end of the day, that person's not, that computer's not going to shake my hand. It's not going to close the deal, because any fucking computer can do that. Any computer system at that point is going to be able to just give you an outcome and a prediction. Everybody's going to be able to automate that same system. It's the person who represents the company, in my opinion, who is going to close the deal. If you come out and you're just not fun to hang out with, I'm probably going to be like, all right, man, yeah, dude, I'll totally email you.
Totally.
And then the next dude's going to swing through like the next weekend, and he's going to take me out and he's going to be like, yo, dude, you are cool. This is why I like to do business. He could wine and dine me instead of me wining and dining him. Like, different approach, even if his product and his or service is not like 100% to the guy beforehand.
Right.
This is somebody who sold them. That's a human. You cannot recreate that.
I totally get it.
It's very it'll be very difficult to recreate a human interaction that's going to be able to and I'm not saying it's going to happen or it's not going to happen, but it's going to take a long fucking time, and I don't think we're really going to be like young enough to actually engage it and enjoy it if it ever is within our lifetime. But let's be real, man. They're saying they're going to put another man on the moon in like 10 years. Why? It's going to take 10 fucking years to put a man on the moon. So when I want to talk about like technology, are we really that technologically advanced, or are there other other factors that are influencing why it's taking us, because there's so much fucking money. We could do it in the 60s in 7 years.
If we did it then.
Why couldn't we? Yeah.
If we did it.
Well, Russia's saying they're going to put a man on the moon in the mid or like late 20s of like the next decade. So it's going to take them for fucking ever to put somebody on the moon. So it's either they're not going because there's like maybe somebody saying, yo, you can't come back for 10 years and we got to clean the fucking moon up. Dude, there's like
some interesting shit.
The moon. Dude, there's we actually bombed the moon. I don't know if you know this.
No,
we did. We bombed the moon, and there's a conspiracy theory around it. I'm actually working out a conspiracy theory show, and I can show you the details later. But we actually bombed the moon, and a lot of they said it was for a test to find out whether the moon was hollow or whatever like that. Right? One of the other tests that they've done, but they said it was a test. In reality, they bombed the dark side of the moon, and the theories are going around about it's very possible that it was either a Russian installation base or a German installation base, or it was an alien installation base that they worked on. But we have literally bombed the moon, and people don't really know this. And it was like not too long ago. It was obviously within the last like 50 years, but I can't speak to it right off the top of my head because I was watching it while I was working earlier. But yeah, dude, crazy stuff, man. There's some interesting stuff about the moon. We could geek on Tesla. So Tesla actually had
Nikola Tesla, or
Nikola Tesla.
Dude, that guy was into some
crazy
shit.
Dude, he had plans. He had plans to go to Mars, and he actually had like rocket. Yeah, you should look up Tesla and Mars. He actually... So when he died, the U.S. government actually raided all of his properties and stole all of his shit.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
I bet he was into some of that shit like your crystal radio. Because he was talking about... Because he had the Wardenclyffe Tower. Mm-hmm. And he had a lot of plans of giving free energy. That he knew he could give free wireless energy to everybody on the planet. That he said that there was enough electrical energy just in the ether to power everything.
You just have to collect it and redistribute it.
Well, I mean, energy is just different frequencies.
Yes.
So if you can tune into that frequency, just like with your crystal radio, then you can attract the energy out of the ether.
And this gets me back to the sound waves you were talking about earlier. So for those of you listening, sound waves are actually negative sound waves. It's a negative wavelength, and it's an anti-gravity wavelength. And when you change not only the frequency, but the so you have your frequency, which is the frequency and the wavelength. So your frequency is the distribution of your waves, and your wavelength is how you distribute that.
The distance between
that, right?
Yeah.
So if you're able to direct sound waves, and my tenant, he does Turtle Talks. Well, he pretends to do Turtle Talks. He's only done like 3 episodes in like 6 months. So fuck you, Turtle. You know I love you, but you should probably do Turtle Talks because I'm fucking doing your job, dude. Turtle Talks is it's a conspiracy theory show.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
So we
That's
do conspiracy
cool.
theories. Yeah, and
That's
he's only
cool,
done 3
man.
shows, and they're like they're always popular. People love them, but
there's only fucking 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna get somebody in here. I have to solicit that because I already have it written out. I have a ton of shows. Long story short, he knows a lot about sound waves and frequencies. And I have another guy who comes in here, and he's been on a couple conspiracy theory shows too. Basically, if you're able to direct them, you're able to control gravity. There's 2 types of gravity wavelengths. There's short gravity and long gravity. Short gravity is you and me stuck on the earth. Long gravity, the moon stuck to the planet, right? And us stuck to the fucking sun, right?
Yeah.
So, positive and negative. Is this real? I don't know, because I'm not a fucking scientist. And let's be real, I don't think any human being really actually understands how anything works.
Yeah, it's all theory.
I think it's
Everything
all
is fucking theory.
I think it's all bullshit. And when it comes
it's all
to
sales pitch.
Yeah.
And it sounds fucking good, and
Even when you
I
get to
don't know what
Hollow
I'm
Earth,
talking about, so I'm
Flat
going to believe
Earth,
this guy.
Flat Earth, Hollow Earth. How do we fucking know? Nobody
Right.
knows. There's been a select few people who have been off the planet, and those
Or have
people
they?
are silent. Or have
I'm not
they?
believing shit until
Or
I
have
experience
they?
it.
Yep.
Because I just this week had a conversation with someone, and they were saying that there is, so you've seen the I don't know if it's electromagnetic, the thing that goes around the Earth.
The Aurora Borealis.
Well, he called it something else. It's a belt, and it's radiating.
Oh,
it protects
the Van
us.
Allen belt.
Yes, he said, dude, you couldn't get a fucking.
You can't
in the
get through it.
'60s.
You have to have like 8 inches of fucking like.
Oh, he said
like
no
iron,
matter what,
like
you couldn't have fucking
copper
in the
or whatever.
'60s.
Yeah, you couldn't
to
do it.
send a fucking rocket to the moon. You couldn't have get through that belt.
Dude, we went to the moon on a TI-32 calculator. TI-32. Do you know what that is? It's your plus and minus and division. You don't have anything outside of that. You can square root maybe. I don't fucking know, but it's a TI-32, meaning 32 kilobytes of memory on that fucking spacecraft, and they got to the moon on it. Tell me how the fuck that works.
Are you meaning to tell me
The computer.
the computer? They didn't even have a computer. They had a fucking calculator
No.
on the fucking.
What I'm saying is
32 bits of fucking memory.
Yes. What I'm saying is their computer was
you gotta
was
believe me.
basically running. It was equivalent to a TI-32 calculator. Is what they went off.
And so, oh my good lord,
Yeah,
what
dude,
a
that's
bunch
what I'm
of
saying.
idiots believe in that shit, you know? And then there's either there is no gravity on the moon, or the gravity is significantly different than that of the Earth, correct?
You slow mo, dude. There's
How
a
the
movie.
fuck did they get the fucking thing off?
How the fuck did they leave the moon?
And that's what I'm
Dude,
saying. How
that's
did
another
they
thing.
get the thing off the moon and then
And come
back,
home?
back through the Van Allen belt? How did you get through it in the first place? Because that's the fucking radiation and shit that we don't even know about.
Well, they don't even have a rocket to get off the fucking moon. And if they do, how do they get back to the planet Earth?
How the they had to
Dude,
launch with some
look how
big
big
huge
those
fucking
rockets
rocket
are.
to get you off the Earth, but you had nothing but a capsule to get you off.
Thousands of tons of fuel.
I'm sorry, you old baby boomers, but you are some naive motherfuckers to believe.
I don't
that.
think, dude. You're talking to somebody who wrote 2 research papers in college on how we faked the moon landing. You and I are
really?
the same, dude. You and I are the same fucking page.
Oh, because that's weird. Because I didn't even know about the Van Allen belt until this week. And when he told me, I was like, "Yeah," because I've seen. It's
No,
a
they need,
shield
like,
that
dude,
protects us from the fucking sun.
Dude, you need like 8 inches or 6 inches of like copper or iron or whatever. It's been like 15 fucking years since I wrote these papers, but they were argumentative papers about how we did not go to the moon. I can fucking show them to you, dude. They're 4 and 8 pages deep. Like, I was like calling people out and shit.
I'm not even a scientist, and I think that, dude, there's no way.
We can't go to no. And
I don't even think we have the technology now to go to the moon.
dude, we're not going to go to the moon until the 30s.
Why
They just
go to
sent
the
a
moon?
rover.
Why?
China just sent a rover to the moon. Why the fuck would you send a rover to the moon?
Here's the thing. I don't believe anything. I don't believe anything that comes
It's in
from the
craters of
government.
the moon in Idaho is where they're at. They're just
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
got rovers. Nobody knows. They could drop a fucking rover off in the middle of there.
Easy. It's a
Thousands
movie
dude.
fucking-
Thousands of square miles, dude. That's where they trained the NASA astronauts for NASA for fucking the moon landings.
Oh yeah, they just shot a movie. They just shot a
Yeah.
black and white movie in the 60s and said, "Oh yeah, we went to the moon." Here's the thing: is that I think that I shouldn't say all, but 99.9% of people in politics are running on outdated operating system. Full scarcity,
Windows XP.
fear, Windows 90 fucking 5,
Damn.
Commodore shit.
Damn.
The average age of a person in Congress is over the age of 70.
Damn.
So those motherfuckers are living on consciousness that came from the
Dude.
Depression.
Did you hear the Facebook? Okay. Did you follow any of the Facebook stuff?
What Facebook stuff?
Okay, so when Facebook was getting like grilled basically by Congress about
Oh yeah, I
about
saw
all
some
the
of it. Like,
data
how does
leak and,
fucking
like-
this work? And
yeah,
are you?
What-
These
they
questions
have no
were
idea
so
about
fucking
internet.
stupid.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
They
like,
didn't know
these
how
are
the internet fucking works.
They don't even know what internet is.
Yeah.
dude. They don't- the last time they logged in, they heard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
So everything I see, I don't believe until I leave the Earth, until I'm in a fucking spaceship on my way out, I don't believe it. I don't even believe that Elon Musk, this Mars rover, it's not true to me.
I do believe the whole Elon Musk thing. And you want to know what? Well, guess what? You would never know.
Well, again, the Van Allen belt. How did he get through it?
Well, no, you would never know.
I know. That's why I don't believe it.
Well, you would never know. They could drop you off in Iceland at a place that looks like Mars, and you'd be like, fuck yeah, I'm going to keep my fucking helmet on the whole time because that's what I'm told. And then you take it off one day, and you're like, holy shit, I'm breathing air. What the fuck?
Well, not only that, but all this, every bit of information we've gotten at this point has come from the media, the internet.
We only know what we know.
Right.
And how do we know I choose not to believe
Earth?
How do we know it's not flat Earth?
That's why that's what I'm saying.
No, exactly. That's why I have people on here to talk about it.
Right. I do. Until otherwise, until I have better information, I believe that we are living in a simulation, that it's not flat, that it's actually just like you've played video games, a first-person video game?
Oh, yeah.
You can only see as far as it goes until you get to that, and then you can see further. Same thing. So I'm living in I can only see as far as the horizon. And as soon as I get to that, I've created more. The video game has created more reality, digitized it so that it's created more. We're not living on a sphere. We're not living flat. It's just, in fact,
we're
try
living
to catch this.
In like a virtual reality.
There's nothing that exists beyond this room right now. Try to fucking put your brain around that.
I am, dude.
We
I'm
close
literally
that door
right now.
Right now. Try to imagine this: that beyond these walls is just the fucking Matrix shit. It's not real until I walk out that door. Then another reality is created so instantaneously that it makes it feel real. Dude. So right now, my kid does not exist. My ex does not exist. Nothing in this entire fucking universe exists in this time and space for me, except for me and what's going on in this room. Nothing else exists. I live in a simulation. I live in a virtual reality, in a first-person simulation, where my consciousness is simply experiencing this reality so that it can evolve, so that it can just continue playing this seamless fucking game, so that it can evolve itself. I have these experiences that stimulate certain things so that I can learn from them, because we've both been through heartbreak. We've both been through these certain things that really stimulate you to grow.
Did you grow up seeing weird shit, man?
Oh my, what do you mean by weird shit?
Like were you followed by shadow figures and shit by your entire life?
No.
Okay.
But I've had a lot of weird dreams. I've been really...
Do you do lucid dreaming?
Oh, yeah.
So my father's a hypnotherapist on the side.
That's cool.
For 30 plus years. And, he's a retired head state nurse for the military, colonel.
Wow.
He's the clinical coordinator of the VA for the entire hospital, but he's stationed on the psychiatric ward. So my life growing up, I heard a lot of fucking crazy stuff.
Yeah.
My dad would tell me crazy shit because he's dealing with people who are on psychiatric ward, who are in federal
they've seen some
compounds.
Shit. They've gone through some fucking weird ass shit.
And my dad used to tell us these stories in a very professional way, but he'd be like, this is real life, and dinner time. And the only reason I bring that up is because I grew up seeing weird stuff, man, and I found out that I had a sibling who saw the same things, but we didn't know that we were seeing the same things until later on in life. And then when we found out, I was like, dude, you and I, it's nobody else has seen what we've seen. This means that I'm not fucking crazy, and I couldn't tell anybody about it. And in fact, I didn't even find out from him. I found out from my mom that my brother was seeing weird shit. And
he
because
told her and she told you.
Well, I told her that I was seeing weird shit, and she was like, that's weird because Bo has been telling me some things, and he said he's seen the same things. Well, and I've been with my younger brother when he was really young. He'd say and do weird shit sometimes, and by that I mean we'd be sitting in the living room and he'd be like, "Whoa, did you just see that?" And I'd be like, "No." He'd be like, yeah, a bunch of like birds or like bats or something just flew by. And I'd be like, what? He'd be like, yeah. He's like, you didn't see that? I'm like, no. He'd be like, yeah, that's weird. And I'd be like, yeah, that's kind of weird. And then I didn't really think about it because he was like, I was thinking, oh, maybe he saw something from like a shadow from the outside, like birds or something. The only reason I connected it was because I had a few instances where these shadow figures would like appear at night, and they would like be in certain areas that I kind of felt uncomfortable in around the house, but mostly in the basement. And I didn't know if they were like portals, but long story I've said that like 20 times, but basically what happened was my brother and I, we started talking about this, and one night he came in and he was like, hey man, can I like, and he was kind of older, he's like, hey man, can I like kind of sleep in your bed, can I hang out with you tonight? And he was like 11 or 12, like he was older, and I was like in high school. I was like, yeah, it's kind of weird. He's like, yeah, I've just like, somebody's kind of bugging me. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, turns out like a couple nights later, the same thing was like started like bothering me because I was like hanging out with my brother.
Wow.
And it was like a figure that was like, there was a black figure that would like kind of sit there and wave, and it bothered a lot of different instances, but this thing followed me for years, and it would like sit and
for
watch
years.
me. Yeah, dude, still kind of see some weird shit. Not here. I've actually had a few people go through some different types of blessings in my house, like from different religions and all kinds of stuff, because I've had people come in my house and be like, and they're like clairvoyant people, you know, people who have like, they're very sensitive to different types of energy. I've had religious people in my house who are like, can I bless like the side of your house? It's kind of awkward. Like, can I bless your room? That was one. Wow. Somebody went in and blessed my room for like 20 minutes. I was like, yo, do your thing. Wow. But what's really weird is I started like having some weird shit happen to me before that, and like when they pointed that out, I was like, yeah, like thank you, because I'd had some, not nightmares, but really weird dreams, like, and I wake up kind of uncomfortable. And I'm not sensitive to energy. I'm not huge on a lot of different types of like those types of beliefs, but I do believe that there are different dimensions, and I do believe there are demons, and I don't think that there's any that are specifically targeting me. But if somebody comes into my house and they point something out, I will allow them to bless my home.
Yeah.
By all means, like, feel free to say a prayer.
I can use all the help I can get.
Yeah, but I was followed, and I've had a few shows, and we talked about this. I've had some experiences that are very interesting. Yeah, wow. Like really, really creepy experiences. And my younger brother has had very similar experiences. And that's, to tie that all in, that's kind of why my brother and I are very close, is because we not only share a bunch of similar things with, sports and a lot of the things that we're interested in the real world, but we've also had some very interesting like experiences, like like multidimensional weird shit, dude. Wow. Yeah, and it's cool because he kind of validated that I was not crazy when I heard him tell me these things, and when my mom told me, and I was like, okay, cool. Like, it kind of makes me not feel so crazy. But then when I talked to him, it was more in depth than what my mom knew. Right. You know, like he was definitely holding back. And when we talked about it, I was like, whoa, I'm not fucking crazy. Yeah, wow. You know, so like, I do believe in that stuff. Maybe I am crazy, but I think a lot of people have probably experienced some type of interdimensional interaction without knowing it, where they see a shadow just move in the background, or maybe they did dream and it wasn't necessarily a lucid dream, but it's possible they separated from their body and they were actually experiencing some type of a what do they call that when your spirit leaves your body?
Like an out-of-body experience? Or?
Yeah, but there's a technical term for it, but like an out-of-body
I don't know.
experience.
I've had a lot of experiences like that, with psychedelics. So
I've had it without a psychedelic when I was a child.
Well, let me ask you this, because I mean, have you ever seen the movie Inception?
Yeah.
At what age do you remember the first time your dad was telling you about his work?
I don't remember.
Young?
No.
Oh, before the age of 5?
Well, my dad did a lot of different jobs. So when I was a child, I knew a lot about what my dad did. But he also was in the military. He worked for the state as like a nurse, like a psych nurse. But then he also had another job on the side that involved like keeping samples and whatnot from the hospital. Like he would transport like samples. So the hospital would give him samples. We had like a giant fridge and like an area in our basement. And
he brought his work home.
Yes, and there were tons of samples, and he had to like incubate them basically, and then he'd ship them off after whatever it was.
Like what kind of samples?
I don't know.
Fucking fetuses?
Urine samples and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, so it was all kinds of stuff. And he worked like and that's basically like we had like a clean space in the basement where he had all that stuff, and then people would come pick it up and whatnot. But when the first time I remember having these experiences that we were asking.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is that, depending on your age, and being that it was both you and your brother, that hearing these stories from your dad. Oh, okay. I'm just saying, like, is there 18. Any chance that your dad telling you about these experiences at his work could have influenced you?
No.
To create because again,
I just don't remember anything about shadow people.
Well, it's not necessarily the shadow people. The shadow people might even be I believe that everything is a figment of our imagination.
Could be.
And so we've created this reality. I believe that we created it. We have created this reality. The reality, you and I are co-creating this reality right now. We're co-creating this experience.
You're talking like quantum physics. Like
yes.
Quantum
well, that would be quantum physics would say everything at its basic quantum level is just energy. The only difference between the table and my phone is the vibration or the frequency at which it's vibrating.
And
exactly.
your ability to actually intercept that and interpret it.
Right. So my eyes are simply interpreting different frequencies. The table is vibrating at, let's just say 96.3. My phone is vibrating at, in fact, it's different vibrations because the case and all this shit. So and then you've got these sensory factors on your hands, your sense of touch that's sensing different frequencies. And so it's all a figment of our imagination, all of it. Mm-hmm. So even everything that you've experienced, it's just a figment of your imagination. Everything that I've experienced, it's just a figment of my imagination. In fact, when I take the mushroom, all I'm doing is I'm just simply saying I believe and I expect to have a certain experience. The mushroom doesn't do shit. I'm creating an experience because I have absolute certainty and belief I'm going to create this fucking wild experience by eating this thing. I believe I have not mastered this, even knowing that this can be mastered, that I can have these psychedelic experiences without eating anything. Because no matter what, I'm creating the experience that I have.
Right.
In any experience. That's why I say and the more I talk about this, the more it's just confirmed. Beliefs and programs are created through repetition. So the more I talk about these things, like I'm talking about with you, the more it just is. It's just laying down a track in my mind, making it more real and more believable to myself. Like when I said, I believe that if I can't see beyond that wall, nothing exists. The only thing that exists in this entire universe right now is this fucking box that we're sitting in. Nothing exists outside of it until I walk out that door. Once I walk out that door, my consciousness is going to project a new reality that says, hey, there's a couch out there, there's a TV out there. And the only reason why I know that is because I've experienced it and I have a memory that can recall it to make it more real. But my deeper awareness tells me that there's nothing. It doesn't exist. It's a fucking matrix fucking sprinkling down like fucking green snow. That right now, my son does not exist. My kids don't exist. Nothing exists.
It's all figment at that point.
It's all a figment of my imagination.
Yeah.
It's just a memory. They're as good as dead.
So do you believe in past what is it? Regression, like past lives?
I do,
like
because I believe as part of this game, part of this infinite game of evolution,
we can restart.
We do restart. I believe that death is a choice. Death is a choice. That, I'm done playing this game for whatever reason. There's
People
an infinite
do
number.
Give up. They all give
Everybody.
up.
I mean, think of how we treat old people. We throw them in a fucking house. We never ever see them again. And then they have no purpose in their life anymore. So they're like,
biblical
I'm done.
times, people lived 300, 400 years.
Right,
Right.
right.
And like we hear about that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I believe that. And then I believe that once you get out of this game, you still have lessons to learn in this infinite game. So then guess what? You're just reincarnated.
You just recycled back into
Right.
the environment. And you live
and then
another life.
just start all over from where you left off.
So the next time that we fucking recycle, do you think we will be living on Mars? I honestly think that we actually have people on Mars. I think Mars is inhabited. I think that, dude, I could get into a crazy, I could get into like a whole crazy like argument. Not even argument. How about we've been going like 2.5 hours?
I know,
by the
man.
way.
I know.
This is a great show.
Yeah.
Yeah. I may do a 2 series. I may do 2 shows.
Do it.
I might just publish it twice.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if, again, that stuff's not real. Mars is not real. They're just dots in the
Do
sky.
we really know? Yeah, that's what I always say.
They're just dots
how do
in
we
the
know?
sky.
How do we know? Everybody's like, oh, well, Mars is this. How the fuck do you know? We know
Everything
it's
is a
red,
theory.
but how the fuck do we know what we look like?
How do we
in
even
the
know it's
sky?
red? I've never been there.
Exactly. Well, it
And
reflects red.
Well, I create it when I look through the telescope. I see
because of what
that
we've
which
been
I
told.
believe exactly.
Because we only see what we've been told.
Right.
Dude, back to like they say this about the Native Americans who had never seen like ships or anything.
I've heard this exact story.
Yes, they say
that they
that
couldn't.
like
Most of them couldn't even
they
see
couldn't
the
even
ships.
see the ships. All they saw was an impression where the waves broke and they saw a bunch of footprints, but
Right.
they had never. Their brain didn't have like the
Consciousness.
capacity, the consciousness and the
Right.
capacity to actually comprehend
Right.
what was in front of them.
Right.
Like, which is why we don't see a bunch of UFOs? But sometimes you'll hear stories where people are like, yeah, I did a shutter, like a what do they call it? Like a blast where they'll do like 20 shots at once and they'll hit like the record button and it'll do a 20 shots and there'll be like a UFO on shot like 9, but it's gone in every other one, right? And it's because I believe that, whether or not these things are multidimensional, if they're intraterrestrial, extraterrestrial, I honestly believe the theory that they would be intraterrestrial before extraterrestrial.
Wow, I like that.
And the reason why is because I 100% believe if I were to relate my beliefs to any type of a theory, whether we have a hollow earth, a flat earth, or we are just a solid mass in the universe, I would bet that we are a hollow earth. I would bet that we are influenced by intraterrestrial, and by that I mean it's very possible that like Atlantis and these former higher, like these civilizations that are in history, I would bet that they were to the point, and you look at Hitler and you look at the maps that he had and you look at a lot of the things that are hidden, but you can still you can find them. They're archived, and you can find things where, there's maps that show that, Antarctica does have an inlet. There's a bunch of freshwater rivers that literally go into the center. You know, there's like lakes down there, freshwater lakes. Why can't we fly over the North and South Poles? Why, when you look at all the things that NASA releases, they cover up the poles?
Yeah, why?
Admiral Byrd, and this is an argument that I have.
Story.
Oh, did you hear about his North Pole story where he went and he was escorted by 2 flying discs? Okay.
Fuck yeah.
So something that can back that up. So he was escorted in, and his journey, he actually talks about as he's flying in. So as he goes, for those of you who are not familiar with this listening, he's flying north on an expedition. And
you got to find the real story.
North, because
it's fucking blow your fucking brains out.
It's insane, but I'm going to give it to you like on a very general level. Basically, he's flying north on an expedition. He's the admiral for the Navy. This is guy is very experienced in a plane. He's already been in the South Pole. He's experienced being attacked by flying saucers down there. So he's going up north at this point to explore the North Pole, and he's escorted. As he's flying north, he says it got warmer as if it was a tropical climate. And all of a sudden, he's escorted by 2 flying discs are like, yo, basically, we're going to fucking kill you or you're going to come with us. Take him down there. This is after nuclear war. He's escorted in. As he's flying down into the journey of the center of the earth, everybody can look the story up. It's like fictionized, but I would assume that's Hollywood's way of like basically saying, hey, it's totally fake, but guess what? It's fucking real, is my guess. Based on the research I've done, and I geek on all this shit. But as he's flying in, he says, he basically explains that he had seen things of mammoth proportions. He literally saw mammoths. He saw giants. He saw trees that were bigger than anything he'd ever seen. And the reason why is because, according to the actual theories, there's a sun in the center of the earth. There's a star, a small star that never stops shining. So when you have planets that have nonstop sunlight, they're going to be big as fuck. Hence all the stories about giants, things coming from the center of the earth, coming out of caves, all kinds of crazy shit. But long story short, he's escorted in. He meets with the president of one of the nations down there, and they tell him, you need to go tell your president that you need to stop doing atomic warfare. That's going to fucking kill you guys. Like, that's not acceptable. We're in control. We'll fuck you all up. Go tell him. This is legit. It is known, and our president, after World War II, actually signed an agreement with a couple races, alien races, about nuclear warfare, which is why we haven't dropped any bombs since, like, we dropped the bombs, right? But every 10 years they renew that pact, and she talks about it. It's the granddaughter of President who was it? Eisenhower?
Could be.
But yeah, they talk about she literally has a book about how her grandfather met with like extraterrestrials. Dude, there's guys from like Venus, Venusians, like that. They were. There's crazy story. There's a guy named something Valiant Thor. This is a guy. His story is fucking crazy. He literally, this is his story. This is what they say. I don't know. I'm not from the fucking 60s or whenever. Very well documented. He said he was from Venus. He showed up in he landed on a highway in DC. Yeah, and police officers escorted him to the White House. He said, hey, listen, they saw he was from a fucking spaceship. They took him there. Yeah, dude, let's fucking Google this, man.
Really?
Valiant fucking Thor. Dude, this is a crazy legit story. This guy's been documented in FBI shit. Dude, if you get on the FBI, like, if you get on the FBI database, you can download stuff that has been, like, that's been made available through the Freedom of Information Act. Like, things have been requested, but they black out a lot of stuff. They'll black out, like, 90% of a report. So you get the dude's name and, like,
wow.
Yeah. But, Valiant fucking Thor. Hold on one second. This is crazy, dude. People don't really, you need to come back for a, what the fuck is DuckGo. Get the fuck out of here. It's not Google.
Valiant Thor just said right there, the benevolent alien with an IQ of 1200.
Dude, it's insane. This guy was like, I guess he spoke like 30 something plus languages fluently. And this guy is completely tracked. Dude, the FBI has hella documents. He was from Venus.
Pictures?
He never ate. Yeah, dude, this is crazy. Hold on. I'm going to... Yeah, and most people are like, oh, it's totally fake. It sounds like fucking Marvel. Oh, well, yeah, of course, man, because Thor is just like a fucking name out throughout the universe. But we have no idea where our actual history comes from, right? Who fucking knows what we know?
Oh, yeah, no way, man. It's fucking created. Like Disney stories.
Yeah, so this guy right here. This guy.
What?
So Valiant Thor, the alien who came to cure, and they've got photos. So these people are from Venus, apparently.
What?
Yeah, and so
have you ever watched anything on that Gaia network?
Oh, probably. It depends. I subscribe. So I've got Tubi. I've got which has an awesome like UFO and cryptozoology data like movie list. It's unreal, dude. Like, and it's free, by the way. Tubi is TUBI. Anybody who's listening, go download it. Yeah. It's fucking dope. But Tubi's really good. Amazon, they actually have like a partnership with UFO TV, and that's all the really good like multidimensional alien stuff
on Amazon Prime.
Yes, yeah,
really?
So they have all UFO TV stuff. So you'll geek on that. I could just set that and forget that, and I geek all day, like while I'm working. Yeah. So, yeah, dude.
But these just look like some random ass pictures.
Well,
this is dude from a side profile that they put a circle around.
Lyndon. Oh, is it Lyndon B. Johnson? Maybe.
Could have been.
But Valiant Thor, anyways, you should, anybody who's listening to this, you should listen to it. It's Stranger at the Pentagon. But the guy had like, hold on, let's go to the like, what was you saying? The 1200 IQ.
Yeah.
The benevolent alien with an IQ of 1200. This dude's really crazy. Do you want to read it? I can read this. It's really short. Val Thor lived as a stranger at the Pentagon for 3 years, interacting with the President Eisenhower and Vice President of the White House and Air Force military brass. This video explores the conspiracy theories surrounding Val Thor's Pentagon. You want to watch this real quick? Yeah. Everybody who's listening, they will be able to hear it. So,
aliens, and they've been here helping us. In fact, I have a picture. Let me reach for it here. Have a picture of one of the aliens.
This guy's got a really cool story, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. He worked as a contractor,
his name is Val,
and he lost his arm. Dude, we could tell. I'll tell you a story afterwards.
There's my father in the background. This whole place, the ready room of the USS Eldridge, Al Bielek has probably explained, or maybe even shown you this picture. There's a list of some of the notable people in it. They're all the atomic bomb scientists of the day, all the time variant experimentalists of the day, all the top physicists of that particular day. This was in August of 1943.
This guy has a crazy story, dude, for real.
Really?
It's insane.
So where is he now?
He's dead.
Val is dead?
No, well, no, they'll talk about Val. This guy presenting
is dead. Dead.
No, him too. Same thing. I'll tell you his story too. That's why he's on here. Because he's also a contractor within certain things. Yeah, it's really crazy.
This man's been employed, probably under duress. If you don't do as we say, we're just going to use you for alien bait or something. I don't know. But anyway, he basically hasn't changed. He lives for 490 years, is what he says his lifespan is. Now, he's supposedly a semi-benevolent, he's a human-looking type person. He has 6 fingers and 6 toes. And
what?
He's got one oversized heart, one lung, giant lung.
Well, you'd think that they would have better pictures, because if they have a side profile and he lived there,
there's way more than that. Yeah, there's
like, where's the picture of the 6?
IQ, if you were to measure, it'd be totally off the scale. It'd be about a 1200 IQ.
We'll listen to it while it's going.
He speaks 100 languages fluently,
so many languages,
as well as others. He's a remarkable person. I had a chance to meet him one time.
Oh.
These 2 pictures, this one first.
Oh, maybe these are pictures. Here we go. Hold up.
August 1943, 3 days before the fatal test. And it was a final briefing for interested parties, scientists, and a few Navy people. Almost all of them on this picture were civilian. The man giving the lecture, I do not currently have the name of, but he was a specialist in subatomic particle physics. He was from India, the continent of India. And it was his lecture, and all of the people there were listening to him.
That's him, I think.
The man in the foreground on this side.
He looks like a fucking alien, though, right?
Is Dr. Oscar.
I mean, he looks like he's probably like Norwegian or Swedish, fair-skinned, blonde hair.
There's aliens like that they say are from that. They call them the Nordics.
Yeah.
Is Oscar Schneider, is this one down here. And next to him, slightly over towards the middle, is a man that looks like he has graying hair.
Looks weird though, dude, doesn't he? Look at his ears and shit. He looks kind of weird.
An individual by the name of Don Thor. He's holding a sheaf of papers in his hand, as you may note. He was a civilian, and we do not know all of his history except it is alleged that he, as his brother Val, were from Venus. And why he had an interest in this experiment, we do not know to this day. Nor why he was there, we do not know to this day. Many other people, the scientists we cannot identify. In this picture also included was Dr. Vannevar Bush, advisor to the president.
These are all like the people involved in the nuclear. That's all the nuclear people for the atomic bomb. That's what he's saying. Yes, that's what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Those are all the doctors for nuclear bombs.
I mean,
and he's just some random dude in that picture, and they're like,
yeah, some random blonde dude.
I know, but he's like in all these photos. There's lots.
I certainly wouldn't dispel that there are already like aliens and people from other.
Dude, there's tons, and they
living here.
Well, and they talk. What's crazy is he actually says that there's 70-something diplomats from Venus that are actually on the planet when he comes.
I would believe that.
And he says that you would never know that these people are from another planet because we all have the same like DNA structure and. But we're all a little different, obviously. But like, you would look at him and be like, "Yeah, you look kind of funky." But
well, I mean, so that would make me assume then that that there's oxygen on Venus, because our body.
How do we know? How do we not know?
Well, because I would just assume that because your body, everything is adapted to the atmosphere. And so if the atmospheres were different, then your body would have to evolve different skin, different lungs, different everything. And so if, let's say, the atmosphere on Mars is different than the atmosphere on Earth, then the body is going to be different. It's going to adapt. It's going to evolve different things so that
gravity, certain things are going to have like, you're going to be pulled different ways by different energies.
So if this guy right here, I mean, if he looks like let's call it an earthling. He's got ears. He's got
look
skin.
how long his fingers are, by the way. That's kind of weird. Look at his hands. I never even thought about that. Look at his fingers. Whoa.
I mean, I gotta see the sixth finger. You know.
Yeah.
To me,
same ways.
Unless I meet the guy, he just looks like some dude.
Maybe he did infiltrate it, but there's some really cool stuff. The only reason I bring him up is because this is like a very top line thing, but like. There's some very interesting documented things on, like, again, off FBI.org and whatnot about him meeting with the president in, like, private meetings. And then they signed, like, there was President Eisenhower signed, like, this alien truce, all kinds of weird shit. Yeah. You want to look that up real quick?
Yeah, do it.
U.S. President.
So, like, those stories, like the Admiral Byrd, you know, I mean, I remember when I first read it, man, it was
blows your mind, right? Trips you out.
Oh, dude. I mean, because I first read it, I think, in, like, 2006.
President Truman, that's who did it.
Sign the...
Yeah, so this is obviously like something that's like on an old ass website, but basically in 1928
1928
result of all this technology, German scientific effort. So basically what happened was Germany recovered like an alien craft. They think that Germany actually was on the moon, like they actually went to the moon, went to Mars. They've already done stuff like that.
I mean,
and we recovered multiple like crafts of theirs that like after the war we recovered some of their crafts. And
Operation Paperclip, you know,
we stole all their fucking scientists.
Yeah. So I mean, how
Werner
much
von
other
Braun,
stuff?
Werner von Braun,
Oh
fucking,
yeah, Nazi dude.
all Nazis, dude.
Oh.
They think that Hitler's son is actually here in the United States and he lives here. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes,
That's interesting.
They believe that. Yeah, there's a theory about that.
I mean, at the end of the day, there's so much we don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, look at those fucking pyramids.
Oh, dude, and on Mars, and there's pyramids on the moon.
Yeah.
Dude, oh my god.
I mean, there's just so much we
stuff.
don't know.
Yep.
So if there's so much we don't know, it's like, what don't we know? What don't we know about our own history? I mean, what if
we're just a bunch of bacteria, dog. We're a bunch of bacteria on this giant fucking planet,
right?
And that's all we are.
But that's just another theory.
We're just
it's just another theory, another story.
My theory is that we are literally like pieces on a molecule, and we're just hanging on somebody else, and we're part of something.
Yeah,
and
that's
like,
crazy.
That's how I think of it.
Yeah, I mean, I like that.
I literally have thought like we are a neutron.
Dust.
We are a neutron, and everything around us is a positive and a positron.
Yeah.
What is that? Positron and a neutron, and then what? A negatron?
Electron?
Electrons. Yes. Electrons are negative, and a positron's positive.
Dude.
And we are the neutron, and within an actual, like...
We're on an atom. We're on a molecule.
Part of an atom, and we are all a part of something that's bigger than us. That's how I've always thought about it.
Yeah.
I've always thought that maybe we're just an atom. Like, what if we're just, like, the smallest part of everything that's very possible, and we think it goes smaller, and it does, and they don't know. But
that's
what
infinity.
If we are? What if exactly
that? There's always something smaller
of that,
and it's infinite. The farther we look, the farther we find, because
and it just gets bigger. And
right,
bigger. We are an atom
both.
within an atom within
micro,
an atom within
macro.
An atom.
Right,
Yeah.
forever and ever and ever.
I've always thought about that my entire life. I've always thought, what if we're just part of a molecule? Ever since I thought of like the positrons, and electrons and neutrons, I've always thought maybe we're just one of those, and we're within it. Because if you look at an atom, if you look at a molecule, it's structured very similarly. You know, like there's I guess a molecule, because within a molecule you're gonna have your atoms, and those are gonna include your electrons and your neutrons. Am I right?
I don't know.
I think so.
I have the vision in my mind of what it looks like, but I don't know all the pieces, the names of all the pieces.
Yes, but they work. They work in tandem,
right?
And so does our solar system. So I've always thought that as a child, like growing up, learning science. I always thought I've never thought oh, there's a God and he created a human and we're just on this fucking planet in the middle of nowhere. I always thought about the planet and then the solar system, and I always thought they look the fucking same.
Yeah.
Maybe we're literally just part of that system, and we are looking at ourselves on a grand scale.
I would believe
that. Yes.
I mean, it's all micro macro on all scales, on an infinite scale. Because I mean, that's something that it's hard for the vast majority of people to understand infinity. It's hard to understand something that doesn't have a beginning or an end, because humans are always trying to search for fucking meaning and beginnings and ends and define things, whereas just don't. There is no beginning and there is no end.
And you're a fucking blip.
Right.
We are a blip.
Or actually, we're not a blip. We are infinity. We are infinite. We're not a blip. We are infinite.
This right here is a blip, but our energy is infinite. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and I'm saying
we live within a blip. We have multiple blips.
Right, an infinite number of blips.
Infinite number of blips.
Right,
but we are that constant energy that flows.
Yes, exactly. We are that infinite energy. We are it. So, I mean, in closing, because I got to get going.
I know. I was just going to say we should wrap this up. It's like 3 hours.
Yeah.
It's so dope.
I was in Peru in 2008 drinking ayahuasca. And, I mean, just fucking 8 hours. Just, I mean, you're gone. Mm-hmm. And I was infinity. I know what it feels like to be infinite. So it's not a theory when you experience something. I was the universe. I was all the planets. I was everything. I was everything. Everything. Infinity. And that's what we are. But what I also realized in that moment of being absolutely everything in the universe is it's very boring. Mm-hmm. Because I do not have what we're doing right now. I don't have that interaction. And so what we do is we take that consciousness, we take that infinite creative energy, and we focus it like the strongest fucking laser beam into these first person, so that we can bounce ideas off of each other, and we can rap, and we can have a good time, and we can just experience these infinite blips through time and space. Forever and ever and ever. And we just continue to learn, and we continue to grow, and we just continue to recycle through these bodies, and just continue forever and forever and forever. And for me, my motto, my analogy for life is a mountain with no peak. And the key to life is just get used to climbing. Just be grateful for climbing. Period.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I dig it. Dude, thank you so much for swinging by.
Yeah,
this
of course.
Been a dope experience.
Yeah, man.
One of my favorite episodes by far. Dude.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
appreciate that.
You're with it. I'd love to have you back. I'm probably going to break this up into a couple episodes.
Yeah, right.
And the only reason why is because I think it deserves like
It's just
2
fucking
episodes.
3 hours long.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Dude.
people would listen to all 3 hours, but I'll do like 2 shows. But yeah, dude. All right. Well, where can people find you? Do people want to follow you? Do you want people to follow you?
Yeah, sure. GaryGilgan.com, GaryGilganCoaching.com, Facebook. I mean, I don't really do Instagram. But
We
YouTube.
didn't even really talk about business much.
Nah, man, we got into some deep shit.
Yeah, that's what I like, then. That's why I have the studio, and that's, a lot of times it's almost a therapy session for people, and I fucking dig it. So,
yeah, it's good to get that stuff out.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm glad to, like I said, connect and, like, we'll develop this relationship more. That's what I'm all about, man. It's just connecting with like-minded, cool people and just having a good time,
Yeah.
Going off the deep end.
Evolving.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I dig it. All right, everybody. Well, make sure that you subscribe. Give us 5 stars. Pass the episode along. And have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace.